Hello, good evening, and welcome everybody to the penultimate round of GPVWC's Super League for 2015. We're here at the Austin circuit. Everyone grab your Stetson, put it on, and get out, because my name is Simon Smith, and I'm bringing you the live coverage here this evening. Alongside me, as always, we have Mr. Down Under himself, and I'm assuming you've got a Stetson in the honour of like Crocodile Dundee there. It's Mr. Thomas Hinns. How you doing?
Yeah, thank you, Smithy. Yes, welcome everyone to the broadcast. And yes, this should be a very, very interesting round. Yeah, no, it's decided to go American there. I'm not sure why.
You were moved.
Could be a very, very interesting round. It's, as you know, we've got the title on the line, as I'm sure we'll talk about as the broadcast goes on, with Puschke potentially being able to take the title here, as we'll talk about. But, plenty of drivers around here who look like they were very close on pace, so I reckon we could have some really nice battles throughout this race, and hopefully we do, because it'd be nice to have a tracker here at the Austin circuit.
Yes, it seems to be one that most of the drivers really enjoy. It's one that's very well designed actually for overtaking. We've seen some cracking races in a Formula Challenge, Open Series, and in the Super Cup that was yesterday. Here we are with the fastest and most powerful cars of the whole of GPVWC's career ladder, rounding off the week for you. And of course, the penultimate round, Mr. Hinns has touched on it, and let's give it a quick rub some more. The thing here this evening, we've got two championships still very much open for grabs. The Constructors one, less looking likely being resolved here tonight, and we'll probably go down to the wire, and that is CSG Racing versus
Vodball.
It's because I just put a little bit of Jägermeister in my Pepsi, and so I wanted to say Jägerball, and it threw me off. There's a new team for you, everyone. So yeah, Vodball Racing, the two big teams having a good battle. Just 10 points separate those. But the one that could very well be decided here this evening is the Drivers' Championship. And that means that defending champion David Fidek cannot allow Mr. Philipp Puschke to outscore him by 4 World Championship points. Otherwise, it's game over and David Fidek cannot take it down to the wire. But for leading a team of Hawkeye that has not been in a championship winning position before, in recent memory, definitely, it's been a good defensive season for him. But how do you think it all stacks up for him today, Tom?
Well, I was just been thinking is, of course, we've known the Hawkeye really hasn't been the best of cars, and David has said that a few times throughout the season. It really hasn't been the top car of the field, and I think the Football is definitely a much stronger car than the Hawkeye from what we've seen throughout the season. So he's not really been helped by the car, but in terms of this race, it's going to be interesting, because I'm pretty sure David was, he may have got pole, he was in the top 3, I know that, and Puschke was there too. They were pretty much neck and neck on pace. So they're going to be very, very close. So it's definitely going to be a fight for the wire for this one. But I guess it'll just come down to consistency, is my thinking, and strategy. As we know, Puschke's quite the fox on the strategy. Same with Fidek. So they're both just as savvy as each other really in that department. So yes, I guess it's just going to come down to who's the better driver on the day.
And for a championship that has an awful lot of connotations in terms of the management of the team and the car itself, it's quite refreshing to see that it's still coming down to the driver as well, and we've not left the drivers out of it at all. Don't forget, if you're in the stream, I can see 8 of you are watching now. Cuddles for you all. Don't forget to type in the hidden chat. It's not so hidden because Sandeep Singer has already said yo yo. So welcome, Sandeep, and it's a pleasure to have you all with us, as it always is. And as I say that, one leaves. So let's stop that. Maybe the person that will bring them back is the fact that we have got the Joshy Washy on cams this evening, bringing you all of the pixelated action. Before we get into the actual race itself, Josh, is there anything you'd like to say as a heads up or something to watch out for, or any thoughts and feelings on tonight's action?
Oh, well, hi everyone. As far as the heads up are concerned, really it's just the championship battle we're looking at. Puschke versus Fidek, 4 points. Puschke needs to secure the title. I'm fairly certain the team's title, the Constructors title, I'm getting my series mixed up. They do make their own cars here in Super League. Fairly certain that's going down to Brazil based on how many points there are in it. So really the fight we're going to be looking at is Puschke v Vod, but still hopefully we'll get lots of action all up and down the grid.
Great stuff, great stuff. There's plenty of other stuff going on behind the scenes. Alex Cooper equal on points on Lewis Redshaw for equal third. Cooper just needs to score to overtake him because Redshaw has not been racing since the Italian Grand Prix. However, Canapino's right behind too. So there is potential for joy there. Fran Lopez would dearly love a top 5 finish by the end of the year. And Florian Geyer, who's been coming on strong towards the second half of the year, would dearly love to jump up the order too. So there's plenty to go on in the drivers' standings. Elsewhere in the constructors as well. Behind the leading duo, Nordzone look quite comfy in third, so long as they don't do a complete banzai. But Hawkeye's there to capitalise. Red Archer and Midnight still squabbling over 5th position. And Adonis and Torrent equal on the 7th position with 70 points.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
A real swing in fortunes from Torrent falling by the wayside and Adonis slowly chipping away as we move on to the grid itself and the 56 laps that this race will contain. And I can already see potentially some different people and different tyres.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it looks like we might have a little bit of sorry, I'm just doing some background stuff as we're going along, but let's have a look. Yes, we do seem to have some different strategies. Yeah, you're right. There's actually quite a spread. We've got about, who is that? So it's going to be Van der Voort, Tom Parker, and Aaron Neiman are all on the prime tire, which is interesting. Generally, you don't see that many people do the alternate strategy, but I guess they're feeling pretty lucky today.
Yeah, it will be interesting. So let's take you through the grid as they run up to the top of turn 1, this turn where you can always break that a little bit later and go for it. It's Alex Cooper that leads us round in pole position for CSG. Second, but alongside him is David Vod for Hawkeye, already the advantage over his nearest championship rival. Third is Fran Lopez for Red Archer VRT. Fourth, David Yunt for Nordzone Racing. That's a good effort from David. Fifth is Jordan Weeks in Torrent, and he's in the pit lane.
Yeah, I think it's a setup thing. I think he had a reset his setup so he's to start in the pit lane from what I saw before.
So he'd already typed in actually that there may have been an issue with the grid slot, so it looks like they'll continue on anyway. To Jordan, the luck never goes from the bad variety, so it continues there. Tom Parker, 6th for CSG. 7th, Pedro Milim in the first of the Midnight Motorsports. 8th, Philipp Puschke, the championship leader for Vodball. 9th, Florian Geyer for Nordzone, out-qualified by his teammate. 10th is Sven de Vries for Woods Racing, in the top 10 again there for Woods, so they'll be delighted with that. 11th, Wapley Hoekstra in the second of the Hawkeyes, getting another outing. Jason Muscat is in 12th for Adonis Engineering, and then rounding out the top half of the field, Tom Vandervoort in 13th for Midnight Motorsports.
Indeed, and in 14th we have Eric Strahan there in the second of the Adonis. Good start there from a non-regular Super League driver. 15th, DeWalt now, the first three driver, and Bart de Vos in the Kerno in 16th. 17th is Kieran Rye in the Phoenix. Then we've got 18th, second Korean Stripes Racing car, Ben Horrell. 19th is Mark Wicks, Wixie in the second Kerno, followed by Nico Yakner in the second Phoenix. Roy Schroeder in the second Woods is 21st, followed by the two Nijos of Kenny Libia and Harry Neiman. And running at your field is Dowie Tapper in the second Bloodball.
Just making their way into Sector 3. Tyres will certainly be an issue here this evening. I think that's why we're seeing a difference on strategy. Everyone on the options apart from Tom Parker, Tom Vandervoort and Aaron Egan. So it'd be interesting to see how they will go, and actually that will give people quite a good view as to how that tyre compound will go. I found it in the Formula Challenge race, which I know is not massively comparable in terms of speed of cars and so on, that it's both sides of the tyres that take an absolute tanking around this circuit. So my front right was just as ruined as my front left, and quite often you expect just one of the tyres to go. So if you get your temps right, you can bugger them perfectly together and not cause an imbalance. So here comes the lights. When the lights on, when the 5 are off, we will be racing here at Austin. The lights go out, we're away at Austin, and that's a good start by Fidek. Let's goodbye Kappa. Oh, and that's Melin there, nearly going off in a spin, launching off of the line. Fidek decides to go for second. Lopez goes round the outside, but Fidek gets it in and Cooper's round! Cooper's round, it's contact, one of the balls off. Is that Puschke? It is!
Puschke.
He's a bit for the championship. Nails off two. That is absolute crazy. Yakinin off two. Cooper is down to the back. And then there's Neiman and two. So problems there for Neiman and Cooper, Livebeer, Puschke, Yakinin, Van der Vault, Duvold, Nell, and Nell's already retired. Issues there. Spider leading the way from Lopez, Mellon, John, Parker, De Vries, Strani, Geyer, Hoekstra, and Muscat. Your top 10.
That was pretty chaotic that first down. I think it was one of the CSGs potentially that had a little moment there. I think it was Cooper, and he sort of cascaded everything else, and they all sort of went into him and caused a bit of a domino effect there, which is what caused that absolutely gigantic accident. It's a big crash that, as we said, really affects the championship now. It pushes way down the field without a front wing. As you look at this battling here for third between Mellon and David Junt in third spot for the Norjo for a reserve driver. Very, very, very good stuff from him. I'm sure David will be very happy with that. But he's got Pedro, Mellon, Sven, Parker. He's got a whole train of them behind. Shadow as well, Derek Strachan in 8. Really, really good stuff. He managed to avoid the carnage. He's got up to 8 without Donis, even past his teammates. So, really good stuff from Strachan there. But yeah, what an absolutely chaotic start. I tell you what, Cody never fails to deliver, I'll say that much.
Wow, what that does do though is throw open the championship right into push Vidoc's favour as Sven de Vries goes around the outside of Florian Geyer for 5th position. Beautiful move down the outside at the final turn. Geyer is going to tuck into the slipstream. De Vries goes defensive. Geyer's now going to try and outbreak him around the outside. There's always room to do it, but I think Geyer will not be able to get the inside wheel, and he's going to stick one in. This is exactly what pushed Nell off earlier on in like the second little chain reaction as they were recovering from Cooper's incident. What he's doing is allowing Mellon and Junkenko to get away. Dr. Voss and Ben Horrell have just got round Dowie Tapper for 10 and 11. Tapper's just passed Horrell for 11th now. Alex Cooper's just retaken Wicks as well for 14th and 15th. Is that Parker going around the outside of Strana? Yes, it is. 7th and 8th position. What a beautiful move. Every inch of the track done. Strana's through, up into 7th in the Adonis, but down his back straight, it's all about wings, and we found this out in the Super the previous races. If you can get away with low wings down here, you're in prime position at the end of the straight. What can Parker and Strana do? Parker back through, thanks to the slipstream, and Strana tucks back behind and thinks, I'll get you next time, Gadget.
Indeed, no, you're right about the wings. I found that Formula Challenge, I was able to stay ahead of someone behind me. It was actually Aria. I was able to stay ahead of him purely on wing. Oh, what did you say?
That was Cooper driving through an 11th position on Horrell, and now he's going to try the same on De Vos. You can do that. That double left, your normal line leaves such a wide open invitation for someone to just do a chuck it up the inside. And it's so tempting, but that door is always a closing one, and you just got to have another driver that's committed. Cooper backed out of it there, but he's done it into the final corner, and now it's Cooper up to 11th, another vital person out of the way for Alex as De Vos gets a real tank up on the exit. That will allow Ben Horrell to have a go up on the home straight. It's uphill all the way, and then you can brake very, very late, and I think Horrell's going to do it. Oh! Tried his best, but he can't quite do it, I don't think, and De Vos will go toe-to-toe with him around sector 1, and I think...
Still side by side. Oh, got it. Wow, nice move. Yeah, just kept going. Just didn't give up all Ben Horrell. That was good commitment, I must say. Also, the battle for 14th is pretty big at the moment. Wicks versus Kiamoki is through. 14th, he just passes the turno. Kenny Livebeer is next, trying to get through and Wicks it down into the points. Update on Puschke, he's pitted and he's back, way back. Where is he? He's plus, let me have a look here, see if I can find the gap. He's plus 57 seconds.
Oh, Schroten
off the lead. Oh,
Schroten, he has DNF'd, and he's actually spun it and then just parked it. There was no issue with the car, he's just had enough. So Roy Schroten giving up in the Woods racing car, and for a Super League driver, I don't think I'd be too happy with that, because every lap means cost. As Geyer goes in deep in 6th position, trying to defend from Tom Barker. They were side by side in the 2 corners earlier to that. Geyer somehow managing to proper kamikaze it and stay ahead. This Aussie track, one of the reasons why it is so well loved, as Parker does exactly what I was doing in Formula Challenge. If you miss the anti-cut, you can get away with not losing the front end and ending up in the barrier. Each corner flows one into the other, and it's beautifully made, so that it penalises you. So you need to have decent flow around here, otherwise you struggle.
And that's like, and it's one thing I found in Formula Challenge is that first rhythm section where the leaders are going through there, the left, right, left, at the start of the first sector. If you can get that right, it just feels absolutely glorious when you get it right. It really does feel absolutely amazing. And as you say, it really is a track that penalises you if you can't get that flow right. So, as you say, it's definitely, I think, a factor as to why this is such a beloved track by most drivers. There's not too many who don't like it. But up there on Cooper, he's now on the back of Dowie Tapper now. That's for 10th. So Cooper's charge continues as he tries to recover from that turn 1 shenaniganry. As he's, right behind Dowie now. Next up after that will be the 2 Adonises of Muscat and Strachan. Shout out to them. 8th and 9th. That's good stuff for Adonis. So good points if they can hang around that sort of top.
Ooh. Hello everyone and welcome back to GPVWC's coverage of Super League, and there's a big collision-y going on just as much as we have on our status streams. The battle for 6th position is an absolute corker, and it's one of many that's going on around on this Austin circuit. Pedro Mellon, Florian Gaia, Alex Cooper and Jason Muscat, 6 to 9. Throw a blanket over them and you could call it Piggies in Blanketters. And myself, Simon Smith, Thomas Hinns and Josh Anderson with you all the way. Josh on cameras. And Mr. Hinns alongside me as I get far too excited as they come over the start line to start lap 9 of 56.
Indeed, and welcome back everyone. Just a few technical issues, nothing we could really do. We are back, which is the main thing. So we're back here again, and yeah, one thing I've noticed, so I've been just keeping an eye on this, is David Junts and Fran Lopez are a lot closer than they were. I reckon David's actually catching Fran. Fran seems to be dropping back quite a lot off the back of Vod. I'm pretty sure he's actually lost about a second in this lap alone. And David seems to be really coming at him, so I suspect Lopez maybe struggling with time where we said it could be an issue. And I think we're really seeing that now. And also, Ari Neiman's already pitted, by the way. So he dropped down to 19th, so very early stop from him. And I'm pretty sure he started on the prime tyre. So, yeah, some interesting strategies playing out here. But yeah, that battle for 6th is really heating up now. As Mellon's right at the front of that train, and he's got a whole bunch of drivers right behind him who are really wanting to get past him and sail off into the sunset.
Indeed, and the thing is that you can try and sail off to the sunset down this street, but they don't seem to be able to do it. It's like they're all trying to have a finicky go at each other. As here comes Cooper down the inside at the start of Sector 3. Beautiful move there on Pedro Mellon. Mellon's been defending that one from Florian Gaia the last 3 or 4 laps. And Alex Cooper does it on the first attempt. I can almost hear Florian inside going, bah, humbug, as they go round. And they were side by side round this wonderful right-hander last lap round. As they came out the other side of it. This turn 15 is a real issue. And Guy's into the pits, and clearly he's decided I'm going to go for the undercut on tyres. And we said tyres was going to be a big thing here, as through goes Muscat, Tapper, Strane as well. And then the next gaggle from 12 to 14 is Hoekstra, De Vos and Horrell. They've been squabbling as well, though Hoekstra has now cleared those two. It'll be interesting to see what he goes on to and where he stays. It looks like he's going for options again, but he's going to have to proper go some if he wants to leapfrog all of these.
Indeed, yep. And just keeping on Puschke recovery, he's just got past Aaron Neiman in the third sector. Ari, he fought as well as he could, but Puschke's just got so much more pace. There really wasn't too much of a fight from Philipp. But he's now up into 19th, and next on his list will be Mikko Jakinen. He's only about 6 seconds up the road, but after Mikko, he's got about another almost 20 seconds up to Mark Wicks, who's the next one in 17th. So after Mikko, there's a bit of a gap next for Puschke, so we'll keep an eye on this, but there's still a chance of points, but I suspect how many is the question that we'll really be asking as this race goes on.
Tapper in 8th position, passes Jason Muscat now to take that 8th place from him. Nearly to go into Mellon, but not quite. And that's interesting to see that swap around. Jason kind of caught onto the back of this battle, mainly because the other lot were squabbling away. And as these squabbles start to disintegrate, that's kind of helped him out slightly. And he'll start to drop off the back potentially, although Pedro is really the man that has been the cork on this bottle cap. And look at the different lines they take into that second last turn. I find it fascinating. Everyone has a different line, and you almost get caught out on that fact. Tom Parker has caught up to the back of Sven de Vries again. And is that Lopez is spun round by John? Lopez
Oh!
oh dearie me, that was the first time you said they were getting close together. Lopez had a bit of a tardy exit out of the final turn. Junk goes round the outside. Lopez was a bit heavy-handed on the accelerator. I can't quite work out if he started to go before Jump went round and gave him a little wee tag or not. That'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, just looking back at the replay, it looks to me that I reckon Fran had already started spinning by the looks of it before David touched him. Then he's just David has nowhere to go, touched him, round he went. So, yeah, I mean, obviously we looked at it later on after the race, but yeah, it looked to me like it was initiated by Fran losing the back end. But of course, just making calls on the fly. But now it means he's fifth and he's got Alex Cooper right behind him. So he goes from one pressure situation to the next.
You can see by his tyres are gone, and Lopez is quite an aggressive driver on the tyres usually, so it doesn't surprise me that he is struggling. And look at the way he had to back out and just let Cooper go, trying to go for the acceleration away again, but he's not got the grip under him to go for it. It's behind Tapper and Mellem going at it. Oh dear,
Yeah.
that was coming. Tapper rejoins again in 10th. Through goes Mellem, Muscat and Strade. Adonis Engineering are loving this. They're just waiting for Mellem to pick them all off as he goes through. Who was next? Pedro. And Fran Lopez can barely get round that double, that triple right. Oh, and again. Pit. Get out of the way.
That was very close. Yeah. Sorry, jumping, but I was going to say, yeah, that move from Pedro there, I've got to be honest, I had a similar move with someone I shall not name in WSS at Hungary. A very similar move, and the same thing happened to me. I got punched off in that as well. It's not a move I'm a huge fan of, because it's just so much danger to taking people out just like that. You know, you go across on them, and it's as we saw there, it's a very dangerous move. I don't really like seeing it, but I guess, at the end of the day, that's done now. And as we said, Adonis are loving this. They're now in 6th and 8th for them, so Adonis are going, thank you very much. If you can keep picking them off with Pedro, that'd be great.
And between them is a stopped David Fidek as well. He's come in and he's put on the prime tyres.
Sorry, it's just a moment there from Parker, yeah. Fine spin, pushing too hard, and I had a little bit of a half spin there on his own, but he's lost probably about 3 seconds, so not too bad, but he keeps third, which is the main thing.
That is good. Parker not very well this evening, you were saying in the chat earlier, so I hope it wasn't a sneeze that sent him off midway. Either that or he's got a stomachache because he eats so much pizza and stays so skinny disgustingly. As Jason Muscat continues to hound Pedro Mellem for that 5th and 6th position. Pedro providing all of the fun this evening. So David Junt leads the way for Nordzone. Who would have thought that of David for when he comes around? He's actually going to go, he's not pitting, so we'll actually say that he's led a lap. As the Mellem and Muscat continues on, Jason trying one way or another, and that's another one. And it's just where you take different lines on defensive action. You can't do those corners like that in that angle. As they dive through, in comes Alex Cooper and also Eric Strane for pit stops down towards turn 1, and I don't think Jason will go for it. But David Fidek's now behind. Do you play the waiting game? Or do you risk it and try and make sure that you keep in the lead as Tom Vandervoort has crashed out?
Ooh. Yeah, he has. I'll go back and try and find out what happened there. Oh, okay, he's lost it out of the left-right at the end of the first sector. I just spun it around. Oh, yeah, hit the wall. The contact wasn't too much, but I think, to be fair, he was a long way down the order, so I think he's just kind of thought, well, I'm not going to gain the time back. I may as well just throw it away now, especially if you have heavy suspension damage. So, shame for Tom after being involved in those first corner shenanigans. A bit of a dud day of him, unfortunately. Just wrong place, wrong time. But anyway, he'll hopefully come back strong in the next round. But yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see what Fidek does. He's still behind at the moment, but it's a bit of an awkward spot for him because he wants to obviously keep pushing because he had about, I think it was about a 4-second gap or so to David. Here we go again with his battle now. Muscat trying to go around the outside on the left-hander. Can he hold a bit of tough move and get it done? Pedro is just leaving the room. Yeah, just not Muscat can't do it. Not quite able to have this big fight because of Muscat. So hanging around Fidek, he's like, I want to get past and I need to get pace if you've got to stop holding me up for this. Unfortunately, they're not just going to get out of his way. They're in a heavy 5-4 position. So really awkward for David. He's kind of the pit stop phase here is really not helping. He's come out in a really awkward spot. He can't do much about. Kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place.
Beautiful move from Fran Lopez, taking Jordan Weeks, who was busy overtaking Kenny Libeer, the 12th, 13th, and 14th. So the three of them have all swapped positions, and then Kenny's then got Jordan Weeks back again because he was slightly wrong-footed on the exit. So that's worked out well for Fran, who's out in the pits just ahead of Eric Strane as David jumped into the pits. He's now exiting the pits now, well behind Fidek, who's trying to get past Muscat, and that was now 3rd and 4th places. But actually, the issue for him now, so Judd's behind, and Cooper's behind as well because he's had the issues. I think actually for Fidek, going to be okay. He's 8 seconds ahead of Parker, who had that spin, and he was the next best person along. So this is working out fine for Fidek if he wants to stay behind Muscat and then until they pit. They're going longer than most people. Parker leads.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, they're definitely extending that stint of Pedro and Muscat. Maybe they're trying to give them less of a stop. Maybe they're going to try and do less stops to gain back time. What were you saying?
That was Fender Reese and Alex Cooper. Sorry to react to my oolings and ahrings as he was going down. I think Cooper and Fidek and Muscat are going to be okay. No, they're not. Fidek takes Muscat down to last words, down into the end of the long straight. But it was Cooper and De Vries side by side now, 7th and 8th positions. They took each other out, reacting to each other's moves on the last corner. Cooper gets through freshly this time, and that is for a net position. So De Vries, they're not really gaining much in the pit stop strategy for someone who was right behind David Young. Or the next guy behind, he's actually really now 6 seconds back from David. So David effectively has moved into potentially second position.
Muscat is in as his tapper, but Pedro stays out. So this is going to be interesting to see how he is with Fidek. Obviously, Fidek a lot faster. Definitely go there. And he is going to obviously be out of position. But yeah, still going along, Pedro. It's a long stint in the open tires. 14 laps. It's a pretty impressive stint, I've got to say. I'll be honest there. So pretty impressive for him to last this long. Keep in mind, Parker's still leading at the moment. He's on prime, so he's probably going to have a long stint here. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays out for maybe a good 4 or 5 more laps, depending on that.
I've done his problems!
Oh no!
They've glided down at turn 1. Strane was coming down turn 1. Muscat came out the pits and they met in the middle. They've still got the right amounts of front wings on and wheels. That's not helped, and they've managed to keep Daryl Tapper behind. So that was the main game for them.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to think. Yeah, I think Parker will probably be in soon, but I don't know, I'm thinking if he can try and extend this to the late teens on these tyres, he can do more to a 2-stop maybe. I think it'd be tough, but he might be able to push for a 2-stop potentially. Mellon's still defending from Fidek, so even though he's out of sync, he is not going to just let him go wide at the double left-handed. Should gift Fidek the position. No, it doesn't. Okay, so Mellon, sorry, hold on, let me go.
Oh, there we go.
Right-handed, that is a brave move. But he gets it done. Wow, that was an impressive move by Fidek. I mean, I know he's got fresher tyres, but a move like that through that corner is very brave indeed. But Mellon does indeed pull into the pit lane. I must say, an impressive length of that first stint. Option tyres, making him last 14 laps. I think that's a pretty impressive stint there from Pedro.
Especially because he was actually full-on battling all the way through, which only chews your tyres more. So through goes David. It's a David 1-2 because David Fidek leads by 2.8 seconds from David Junt. So that is impressive. They're on different tyres now, so Fidek on a slower but more durable prime against David Junt on the faster option. Alex Cooper now up into 3rd for CSG. Sven De Vries still in 4th. Tom Parker rejoins on the prime again in 5th position, so he's going for a completely different one, and I think that plays into what you were saying there, Tom, about him going potentially for a 2-stopper. Florian Geyer, though, is now alive in 6th position and reeling them all in. So he's actually closed down on Fidek in terms of time overall, so that's interesting. Lopez 7. Pedro Mellon, where is he? Because all the action's around him. Oh, he's got an Adonis collection behind 8, 9, 10. Mellon, Strane, Muscat. Keep your eye on that, Trashy Wash. With Tapper behind, and I think Strane's going to have a little look. 11th, then, just whilst you're watching that, I'll run down the rest of the order. 11, Dewi Tapper. 12, Glenn Horrell. Just ahead of Art DeVos and Wopke Hoekstra, 13-14. Jordan Weeks is in 15. And it's Puschke just outside the points. That's interesting. Half a second behind. Here comes Strane on. Ooh. And Adonis one side and the momentum. You can't take both off. So, where are you going? Down into the next corner. And well, if he defends that, I will actually put some more Jaeger in my in my coat.
Right.
In
Might
celebration.
actually defend it. Yeah, he's done it. That was
Shots for Pedro.
impressive. Yeah, that was an impressive defensive move. He looked to me like he was all over and that was going to be strung through, but he managed to hold on. So credit to Pedro for some defending there. And he is on the prime time. You've got to keep in mind the two Adonis is on the option, so they're on the faster time, which is probably why the oil at the back of him might be dirty rash right now. Although they've actually strung through bad eggs out of the last one. He might come onto the pump now from his own teammate right here. As Musk has a little bit of a look down to turn one. They don't want to get too aggressive. They don't want to have more contact like earlier on. And yep, Muscat gets through. Strun not too physical there, just being pretty submissive, which is fair enough. And Muscat is the more experienced driver here in the Super League terms anyway. So Muscat goes through now, and it'll be Muscat's turn to try and attack Mellon, and Strun will just sit back and watch. And Tapper is still there, just holding on, just watching brief on this battle as it goes on, probably looking to see if he can maybe gain some spots there. But otherwise, it's still David Fidek leading by 2.8 seconds. Interesting though, Yunt is holding on. He's on the option tyre that probably does help. He's on the faster tyre, but interesting says, well, here we go. Cooper and Sven. No, sorry, Cooper was mapping one of the Phoenixes. Sorry, I thought it was Sven and Cooper side by side. But yes, Sven's still fourth, and he's still got Parker and Gaia behind. And then in relatively close proximity, Parker is on the prime tyre. It's pretty impressive, I think. He is holding on to the back of Sven despite being on the slower tyre. But yeah.
Muscat on Mellon. Doing he tried to set him around the outside, then dive for the inside. That was the only way that was ever going to work. Mellon sticks it up the inside. I had a collision there which took out Zepenik in Formula Challenge. Don't ask how we were battling. That was a bizarre moment. But yeah, through goes Muscat eventually. So Mellon now demoted down to 9th. He's got Strana and Tapper still behind him. Just a quick shout that Philipp Puschke, when I said that he was in 16th place, he was actually coming into the pits to make his stop. So he's now back out in 18th, 58 seconds off of the leader, David Fidek. So in terms of time, he's actually reeled in a couple of seconds. So he's clearly got the pace 2 challenge for the win. But sadly, he's got a minute deficit to continue to make up. So we'll see how that pans out over the course of the race. But the more that these guys battle, the more that plays into the hands of someone like Philipp Puschke. Because what they're doing is slowing each other up whilst they battle over their 8th, 9th and 10ths.
Indeed, yeah, and it's just the important gap I think that I'm keeping an eye on is the gap between Puschke in 18th and whoever's in 15th, which is Jordan Weeks at the moment. And it is 19 seconds is the gap. It's a pretty hefty gap. It's nearly a pit stop, that gap. Well, pretty much is a pit stop between those two. But he does still have a long way. I mean, he's still running 30% through, so 17 and 56 laps. Still got 70% of the race to go. So plenty of time left. But no, I do definitely think Puschke could get in the points. But how far up the points is, I'm not really sure. But as you say, if they keep battling here at the back end of the 10, this is only going to help him. There's now Sterling coming back yet again at Mellon for, I think it's around like 3 or 4 now. I've been trying to get past. Oh, a bit of contact there. It's happened nearly. That's actually good stuff to avoid that. So Sterling goes for the switchback. He's on the outside, though, for this corner. Mellon goes in too deep. That's Strum wanting to do that. Good little dummy from Sterling. He's through into 9th spot. Although, look at this Mellon straight back down the inside. Chucks it up the inside. Take it from my own rule book, my little phrase book there is Mellon. I'm sure he's quoting my book here. He must be having a read of it before the races. He's still holding on. He's still trying to go around the outside here at the triple right-hander. Impressive stuff. He's still on the inside. He's nearly contact. Very close racing, but well done from those two. That was very hard fought, but very nice and quite clean, which is good to see. I'm still on it. Was clean until there's a little bit of contact there, but Stone keeps it for the moment. But Mellon will be in the slipstream. This battle is really, really picking off. Mellon just will not say no, and I guess that's sort of a trademark of Mellon. He just never gives up, but he's gone wide at turn 1. No! Oh, Pat
and that's
Mellon
the result.
Yeah.
That is a whole result. So Tapper with no front wing. I tell you what, that means that they're having a terrible time, and that could well play potentially into the championship of the constructors, because that's now both Vod Bulls having to come in for front wings. So that's... We'll make the connotations for that. But Pedro Mellon has been constantly changing his line under braking and on acceleration, and now he's battling with Jordan Weeks doing a similar thing, although that corner's a bugger to get around side by side with anyone, because everyone is a different line through that chicane. And I think when you're doing that, sometimes it can be very difficult when you're racing someone like that. A, because you're not quite entirely sure where they're going to point to, but B, you're then having to react to something in a brake pressure, an acceleration pressure point, when your grip is at your lowest, and so people meet in the middle, and that's unfortunate end to that type of characteristic driving, which is always on the limit sometimes of what people do. in the rules.
He knows. Ooh, wow, hang on, we've just got... Ooh, I reckon... Ooh, we've got some issues for... Who's that? Hoekstra. Big issues for him.
Ooh.
I reckon he's lagging out. Yeah, he's disappearing everywhere. I reckon he might lag out. He's appeared again. He's
Thing is 3,000.
Oh, God, yeah. That's
There would be a
that's not good
technical
sign.
issue.
Yeah, not looking good for Woodkey. He's still
Got
still
your
there,
internet,
though.
Josh.
Yeah. Borrowed, no, he's probably borrowed some internet from me, but looks at it with the inconsistency. This is his Aussie levels of internet. He's still there. I don't know what he's still hanging on. It's so strange to see. 3,000 ping and he's still apparently in the game. So he's still trying. His internet's not giving up. So credit to his internet for not giving up. Hopefully he can resolve that and he can be good.
He's back.
Look, he's back, alright. He's dropped the 17th. And that's our... Oh, is he back? Yeah, he is. Then that actually means that Puschke's in 15th. All of that chaos, Puschke is now in 15th. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It just shows that even if you have absolute disaster for the start going along, and there you are in 15th again. So,
And the reason why he's got... I was going to say, the reason why he's got 15th is because his teammate Tapper was going into the pits for a front wing replacement. So, one misfortune benefits the other.
Indeed, yeah. So, I'm sure Philipp will be thanking his teammate and Woodkey for the drums there to help him out. They're now under 15th, but there is still, of course, he's just a big deficit. He's still going to lose 24 points at this point to Fidek. But we should see how far he goes. We've got Kenny Lydia next on the list for passing, and then it's Pedramel on the action man himself. Yeah, I think definitely get Kenny. He's only about 4 seconds up the road, and Puschke, of course, does have lightning pace, as he always does, because he is Puschke. Whether we can catch Pedro and possibly Weeks as well is another question entirely. They're only about 13 seconds up the road at this point, but it is it's one thing to catch someone, it is another thing entirely to pass someone. So we'll see, but I don't know. I'm thinking if he can get a top 10 out of this, I think Puschke's done very, very well indeed.
So Phoenix is about to go a lap down. Yakinen already. Kieran Ryan is now moving over to be a lap down. So as the first lapped duo. We have Fidek still leading the way by 2.9 seconds from David Junt, third Alex Cooper, then it's Toon de Vries in fourth. There's a good little grapple going on here. De Vries has got Tom Parker slowly catching him back up again on the slower prime tyres. Parker doing an amazing job, pardon me for that, as he comes up to have a look, and this is his first real big go. Sailing through. Nicely stopped. Can he get it on the accelerator? Yes, he can. Got the inside line. De Vries may try and do the switcheroo, but they meet in the middle, and it's so easy to do around these next complex of corners because it's such an invite to chuck it at the inside. But Parker's got it, and he holds that position. Beautifully done. In fourth position. De Vries down to fifth, Kaya to sixth, and Florian will be sizing that one up and taking note because he struggled for overtakes around Sector 3, and he's now into the pits actually for a new pit stop. So 10 laps per stint for Gaia. That is worrying.
It is, yeah. It's going to be a 3-stop at best, maybe even a 4-stop. He's really going to have to pit a lot. And that could, as we've already said, that could play in the hands of Puschke. If Puschke can maybe get a less stop than him, he might be able to challenge him later in the race. So interesting stuff indeed. For Guy, yep, North Journey, it's Guy in, and I think, yeah, it's just him. Dundu still, sorry, David Jantz, don't say Dundu, he hates it when I say Dundu, is still going on the second. He's 2.5 seconds off, which I'm finding interesting. He's been on option time for a while now, and he's still going along, still got pretty good pace. So I must say, David seems to be holding onto his tyres quite well, and again, really impressive, I must say, from someone who's a test driver. For North Journey, you wouldn't really expect him to come in and be second, only 2.5 seconds off someone who's been racing all season long. So, really impressive from David Junt, and a very, very impressive race indeed. And hopefully, for his sake, can keep this going because it'd be a fantastic result for North Journey.
I'm just still flabbergasted over the differences in tyres. I remember talking to quite a few people during the week around tyre wear just in general. And it seemed to come down heavily to the way you set up your car. So if you put more wing onto the car, in theory your tyre wear will be less because you've got less speed, so therefore less friction on turns and so on and so forth. But the minute that you stick up your wings, you then become absolute bait down that back straight and the home straight. And you have that constant dilemma and issue around, do I sacrifice top speed and therefore potentially be a sitting duck? Or do I play the long game for tyres and hope that everyone else either has to stop another time or two depending if you're going, because I think that could go horribly wrong. Is I've just noted Ben Horrell's into 10th with all of what's going on. Or do I sit there and think, right, I'm going to do quali lap after quali lap and just tank the hell out of my car and all of the tyre sets that I've got? And I think that we're going to have some different modes in play. And I just wonder if those that are able to eke out those extra couple of seconds or a couple of laps on those prime tyres and option tyres are the ones that have got ever so slightly lower wings.
Yeah, indeed. No, I'd agree. I mean, as I said before, informal challenge for me in the first race. I stayed. I mean, Ari Neiman, who's of course in this race, he's down in 17th at the moment for Nijo. But yeah, he was battling me in the first race for 8th spot, and he was behind me the whole race. And he just couldn't get past purely because he had a higher wing. So down the back straight, he just couldn't get up to me in the slipstream because his wing was too high. So that just shows how much of a difference that is. This guy now on the inside of Strahan gets past him. Oh, one of the Phoenixes nearly get involved. He saw that coming in quickly out of the way. Good stuff from whoever that was. It was Kieran Ryan. Good observation from Kieran. You see that coming, so he got out of the way nicely. But interesting to see that David Jones is actually closing in on Fidek. It's 2.1 now, and he's on the option tyre, which is interesting. You would think that the opposite. You'd think that David Fidek would get away now that the prime would be coming into its own, but it's actually the opposite. The option seems to be coming into its own at this point of the stint, which is really, really interesting. I'm quite intrigued by that. And also Alex Cooper, he's now only 4.1 behind David Fidek. So both of those two are really reeling in Fidek hand over fist, which is really quite interesting to see there. I wonder if that's, as you said, maybe a setup thing. Maybe those two have got a setup which is really good for tyre wear. Maybe Fidek's just struggling a bit on tyre wear, but yeah, David don't really sort of reeling him in slowly but surely in the last half dozen laps.
Woodkey has retired.
Oh no, yeah, it might be, I'd assume.
Ping.
Yep. Looks like he was lagging once again. So real shame for Woodkey there. The internet, his internet just being a bit dodgy there and wrecking what would have probably been a points finish for him. So real shame for him and Hawkeye. But hopefully they can come back strong next race and get some good team championship points. But what that does do is mean that Puschke's in 14th. He's gone past Labia. And yeah, next on his list is Pedro. So this recovery drive from Puschke is looking quite good at the moment.
I think when he was talking about tyres and tyres coming on strong as you go throughout a stint, we were talking about the difference between if you go for slightly higher wings and a specific split. We were finding that actually the tyres, even though they drop off, you get to the point as Alex Cooper pits from third, you've got the ability for as the fuel runs down, you actually get faster as the tyres get older if you get that split right. And it was different for each person, and maybe David's been able to find a sweet spot for him. He does plenty of practice and plenty of racing, as we all know, and so no doubt he will have tried to nail that down. Lopez in as well from 6th position, Cooper in from just rejoining in 5th place. Gaia and Muscat close together and for what is now 6th and 7th. Oh, and Gaia goes for it. Muscat caught napping. It wasn't even an overtake at that point, and Gaia just goes yoink through. Of course, he's on the fresher rubber, although he's on lap 25 and 56. By law of averages, he's due a stopping 5 laps time, so I suppose he better get a move on. What was that, a change of position of? That was Fran Lopez coming out of the pits and retaking Bart DeVos for 9th and 10th position, so immediately an attack. Ben Horrell in as well, he just rejoins in 14th place, pushing Puschke up into 13th temporarily. 20 drivers remain.
Indeed, yeah. So not too retirement. We've had the 4 retirements, so relatively heavy retirement rate here. Seeing as we haven't even got halfway yet, we're only 43% through the race. 24 laps done of 56. Fidek about to come around to complete the 24th lap. He's just behind Aaron Neelan there in the knee show, so about to put him down a lap as there he goes. And yes, and David John's still staying out on that option tyre, and he's still holding on to the back of Fidek. It seems like he's not really closing anymore. He's holding it around about 2.2 seconds thereabouts, but he's still holding it, which is interesting because he's been on the option tyre for quite some time now, and he's still holding on to the back of Fidek, which is really interesting to see. So we have Bart in 10th there. I think that was possibly Fran just getting past him there in the Red Archer. Of course, Bart, I believe, is yet to stop. I don't think he's stopped yet in the Kerno, so a little bit out of position there. He'll probably stop the next few laps, I would assume. Yes, no, it's interesting to see. And actually, we'll just say as well, I noticed when Cooper came out, very nice stop from him. He's come out in a nice bit of clean air. He's got about 10 seconds to Sven. So really nice gap for him to have. And so he's going to be able to push really hard now. And I wonder if it's going to help him in the undercut in his battle with David Young and David Vajda. We'll have to keep an eye on that one as we get.
Strana then rejoins in 11th, and he's got ahead of Pedro Mellon. That's crucial for Adonis, although he's got to get those tyres up to a quick temperature because Pedro Mellon's on the prime, he's on the option, so he's going to need to floor it quite quickly because hashtag shots for Pedro means that I can't get too much drunker in this podcast, otherwise it's all going to go horrifically wrong. But yes, anyway. Strana looks like he may have got that one covered just about. They've got Kieran Ryan 2 laps, so that will be interesting as they go round. David Fidek pops a lap on Mark Wicks in the Kerno in 17th. Looking good for points potentially with the attrition rate as it is.
Alright, just looking at Strana, just moving across using the Phoenix almost as a roadblock on Pedro. Moved across in front of him, and then Pedro had to move across to get the slipstream. Here we go, Pedro having a look back at Strana again. Never say never to Pedro. He's always willing to take a fight. So Strana defends it. He's going to be on the inside now for the double right-hander, and it looks like, yeah, he's all good. He's got it nicely done. So good stuff from Strana there. But yeah, Pedro just never say never as his strategy is. Puschke now, only 2 seconds back, so he could be in this fight for 11th very, very soon indeed. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Pedro deals with him, because obviously Pedro, as you've seen, he's not afraid to defend to the depth, no matter who it is. So I really don't think it's going to make it easy for our current championship player.
So Opco just confirming down internet in the chat room, so definitely a disconnection for Wopke. Sven de Vries is pitted and rejoined in 7th position behind the Gaia and Muscat squabble, which is actually separated by 3 seconds. Strana and Mellon still going at it, hammer and tongs for 10th and 11th. Behind them, Philipp Puschke, and obviously his pit stop adjusted, will then fall back behind. Jordan Wicks just rejoins from the pits in 14th position and nearly bins it down at turn 1. So that it was like he came off the pit accelerator and then kind of locked up his wheels. Bizarre. Didn't go over the white line though, so that's all good for him. Kenny Lydea's got the final point in 15th currently at the moment, but Dowie Tapper, recovering from his front wing change, will soon want to pay to that. Mark Wicks and Aaron Hinton.
Was a young 10 finally, and he's coming at the same time as Fidek, and Fidek goes onto the prime again, and Young onto the option again. Interesting. So yeah, still going different strategies. I wonder if that's going to mean Young can actually challenge for the lead in this stint. Time will tell.
I'm still not convinced that Tom Parker isn't out of play yet. He takes the lead. Prime times again, he's doing longer stints. He's trying to get one less pit stop. But at the moment, that is working beautifully whilst he stays ahead. So Parker now leads for CSG. Second is David Fidek. Third, Alex Cooper has managed to get in between those two, so that is key. So Junt there loses out essentially in that pit stop phase, rejoins behind Cooper, and Cooper has got David Fidek right in front of him. And Cooper's obviously got less in terms of tyres, but that is key to have as Mellon and Puschke going at it. Oh dear! Oh, Pedro!
It's all getting a bit messy. It's all he loses it. Oh, nearly has an exact repeat of hitting Tapper into turn 1. Just a bit messy there. But Puschke's managed to get through, so now he's already clear of Pedro. I must say that really quicker than I thought. I was a bit worried that could all get a bit messy, and it kind of did, to be fair, for a little bit there. But he's through now, so that's good for Puschke. He's through into 10th. And
much
next
cleaner.
I
was going to say, much cleaner overtake just behind was Ben Horrell getting past Bart DeVos. DeVos came out of the pits for 10th and 12th and 13th. He done him down at turn 1. And I think we're about to see the same again with Mark Wicks and Aaron Eamon. Oh no, not Aaron Eamon, who's completely missed the final corner 8 backs. I thought we was going to see a 3 moves in 1 shot. But no.
That's right. Yes, but yeah, so yeah, Parker's still leading, as we said. He's actually just behind them now, so Ari there, yep, doing the sensible thing, getting out of the way. Just one of the leaders. Good stuff from Ari there. But yep, Parker's still leading. He's got 9 seconds on the leaders. And if he pits, I would assume he'll probably come out around 6 or around Sven in that battle. Just around Sven as Muscat just pits now from 7th, and will probably drop down to around Pedro Puschke there. But yeah, no, so should come out around there. But look at that, Alex Cooper is closing in on Vidic at a rapid rate of knots right now. It is because Vidic is on the prime tyre. Cooper on an option, but this could be a change of the effective lead, I think, in the next few corners perhaps.
Absolutely, as they're coming into the final one. Junt still closing in the gap between him and Vidic down to 1.8 seconds. Vidic clearly feeling like he said beforehand that he is evil on the tyres. We used to find out between him and Lewis Reginald that Lewis said he was even worse on the tyres, and so that always used to dominate some of CSG's strategies. And Alex Cooper clearly has a little bit more caressing to the tyres. Same for Junt as well, and Vidic now having to go extreme defensive, and all this does, here he comes, straight away, dive bomb in between, but that, a little bit of a love nudge on exit. Cooper goes through, opportunistic, and I tell you what, often we say that Alex Cooper is the silent man who sits there and collects up all the podiums, but this time he is popping all of the testes out and saying, I'm coming through, and that effectively gives CSG a 1-2 at the moment. And now it'll be fascinating to see, because Tom Parker, doing one stop less, has already got a 9-second advantage. You need about 19 round here to ensure that you're going to stay ahead. And I wonder what they will do, CSG, on that, because Cooper now back into second, effective lead. Vidic now down to second, and David Junt is ready to capitalise on that as well. All this does is move that chess piece of how many points Vidic is gaining back on Philipp Puschke to a slightly smaller margin, and he would dearly love 25 points for a win.
Indeed, no, it's very true. There's a few miles going on, still up Arthur Voss, Ben Hall, and Weeks for pretty close. It's over 12. And actually, the two, this Puschke actually pits now. As we thought, as we said, he's had to pit again, so he's just done his stop. He should pop out right behind the battle, so he'll probably be 14th. Yeah, right behind it. Is actually, look at this, Weeks looking down inside of Horrell in turn 1. I think he'll get done yet. Horrell not really fighting the issue too much. He possibly feels that already time to fight too hard now, but we'll fight it harder later on. So Weeks gets through the 12 now, and Bart Voss is next to him. But Puschke 14th, he's come back at 15th, by the way, although he might be a bit out of sync with pit stops. We'll see in the last sort of 10 laps where he really is, when everyone else sort of sorts their pit stop strategies out. But yes, Junt is right behind Vidic. He's managed to close him in, but I wonder if we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if he can really challenge the next few laps. No count out Gaia. Gaia's just there. He's hanging around. He's about 5 seconds behind the effective leader, Cooper. So he's thereabouts, Gaia. He's kind of coming back into this race as the race is worn on. And I wouldn't count Gaia out of maybe challenging for a podium, seeing if his pace can keep him in the fight at the end.
We are on lap 31 then of 56 as we come through for a quick rundown of the order just whilst we've got the next pit stop phase about to kick off. We're just watching the battle between Weeks and Horrell, I think we are, 12th and 13th. But on up front we've got Tom Parker leading the way by 8.4 seconds from Alex Cooper, his teammate, in second. David Vidic is in third place, about to be in a no-zone battle with first David Junt in fourth, who's closing him down, and Florian Gaia, who's also closing in fifth. Sven de Vries is in sixth for Woods, seventh is Fran Lopez for Red Archer. 8 and 9 are the Adonises of Jason Muscat and Eric Strane, and that is going to be fascinating to see how that bitch fest ends up going. 10th will be Pedro Mellon for Midnight Motorsports, hashtag shots for Mellon. Then it is the Bart de Vos, Jordan, Weeks, Ben Horrell squabble for 11, 12, 13. Puschke is in 14th, just 4 seconds behind this, so he could pick off 3 very quickly. Dowie Tapper, his teammate, recovering in 15th in the final point. The Nijos are just outside the points at the moment. Libia, the last unlapped driver, and Ari Neiman 1 lap down. He's got past Mark Wicks now, who's down into 18th place for Kerno. The Phoenix is very much in their own race with Kieran Ryan in 19. Mikko Yakin in 20th, and he's overshot his pit garage and went sailing on, and has had to just quickly reverse back up, doing a whoopsie. But that's nothing compared to what's going on down the home straight, because here comes David Junt on David Vidic. It's the battle of the Daves down into turn 1. David Junt takes second place, and that was a good clean move. Oh, he's a bit heavy-handed on the exit. No, don't close the door too much. And we've seen quite a lot of this, because there is so much speed and so many different ways you can take these turns that people start chopping over each other. However, Junt is through. Vidic, I think, went, I'd rather have my nose cone and score some good points than have a go and maybe end up wheel-less.
Yeah, no, very true. Yeah, that was a bit of a dodgy moment there. I did notice that, yeah, that was a very, very close move. And I did notice as well Parker pitted as well. He's come back out in fifth, just ahead of Sven de Vries. So I think he actually effectively passed Sven in that stint. So good stuff from him. He's only 11 seconds down, and as we said, he looks like he could be going for one less stop potentially. So if he does do that, then don't count him out for being there or thereabouts at the end. We'll keep an eye on that for you as the race develops on. But yep, now Alex Cooper, he's managed to recover to the lead, so good recovery from Cooper. And Junt's still there in second spot, so don't count him out. Been a very, very impressive race from him. Fidek's still third there, as we said, probably just being a little bit conservative now, just trying to take as many points as he can while Puschke's sort of in the wars. And where is Puschke? He's closing in on Bart de Vos, and he's only about 3 seconds now down on the Kerno driver. I'm sure we'll be onto him pretty soon, because as we said, Puschke is a very speedy driver right now.
Yes, he's passed Ben Horrell, who I think has had an off somewhere because he was in that Weeks and DeVos battle and has suddenly lost 8 seconds, which is not a pit stop. So clearly he's had an excursion and a field trip with a compass and has worked his way back in again. So that's a shame there for Ben because he's been doing a sterling job.
Yeah. Sorry, I just was going back trying to find it. Yeah, he just lost on his own. Just out of the double right-hander before the double left-hander at the third sector. He just lost on his own. Went round, and yeah, that was it. So just a simple mistake from Ben. Real shame for him. But he's still in the points, so still in 14th, which I'm sure Green Stripes will be very happy with indeed.
Yes, they need all the points they can get in the battle of the constructors further down the field. Green Stripes running 12th. They're just 3 points behind Nijo, and with Nijo not in the point-scoring positions, that battle for 11th in the Constructors' Championship is key for them in terms of finance for next year. Looking at the Adonis scrap, which is personally interesting me. Muscat still holding up Strana. Strana, of course, our ITC champion. So converting his tin tops to open wheelers fascinatingly well. And he's done a fantastic job in Formula Challenge earlier on this season. And it's great to see just how the career ladder works. And you can see people with the real talent popping up to the top. The cream of the crop, as it were.
Oh, yeah.
And showcasing exactly why we do what we do here at GPVWC. And it looks like he is sniffing out Jason Muscat's rear end and has went, I've had enough of that. And I think he's going to take a wee bit of a 8th place. In fact, he's done it before they've got down. At this time, Adonis know what they've done beforehand. No contact, nice and clean. And actually, no, I don't know. Jason is a good team player. He's got a long history here in the Super League. That would go quite nicely for him, I think.
Yeah, no, as you said, Strana already proved his abilities in ITC and FC. A very, very talented driver, I must say, and very, very clean driver too. You know, he's one of those guys, very, very fast, but really fair, really clean driver. Just one of those great examples of a racer that I think really everyone should follow. You know, I respect him a hell of a lot, honestly. As a driver, very, very talented and very clean as well. So he's now up into 8th for Adonis. So good stuff.
And he does amazing stuff for charity as well. So go and follow his cycling expertise everywhere, because for a man who's small in stature, he does big things for charity. So get it sorted. Guy has been in the pits by the way, rejoined in 6th. Ahead of Lopez.
Indeed, yeah. Yeah, indeed. So Lopez is next for Strana, but it is about a 13-second gap, so I'm not really sure that he can challenge that. So probably 8th is about the best he can have now. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Again, that's a really good result for Adonis if they can hold that. That'll be good points for them, and they'll be very happy with that as they've struggled at times this season with points for their Constructors Challenge. But yes, Fran Lopez 7th, of course, had some dramas during this race with tyre wear and so on, but he is still in 7th, so still points for Ed Archer. Florian Guy is next on the list for him. Of course, Guy was obviously just pitted, so that would be why he's dropped back. But yes, Cooper's still leading, still 3.2 seconds now to Junt, so he's been slowly eking out that gap to David. To look at his 3.1, okay, David just closed that in ever so slightly. Fidek's still 3rd, he's just holding up off the back of Junt. It's about 1 second back to him, so he's just holding on the back right now, Fidek, just playing it cool, doing his usual Mr. Consistency, keeping it nice and cool as a cucumber. Use an overused old saying, is Fidek. And yeah, so there you go.
Does that mean that we're sorry to dive in, does that mean we'll have to do the armpit check when he comes in for an interview later just to see how cool that cucumber was?
We might have to, yeah, I think that's something we'll have to do. But,
it's become a regular feature in the interviews to just check out how sweaty David Fidek got today.
And just quickly as well, I'll just mention the Puschke comeback charge, hashtag Puschke for the win. He is back in 12th now, and he's not too far off back to Jordan Weeks, only about a second between the two, so I wouldn't be surprised if Puschke challenges him for that 11th spot in the very near future.
Grandiose. James Kirk, does anyone know what tyres Florian Geyer is on? He is on the option tyres. So he managed to do 12 laps on that stint, which is the longest stint he's done, but he's gone options again. So that's 4 stopping. At best. Well, it will have to be that, because when you get to, if he can get to, say, lap 44, then he can stick on the primes and get, hopefully, 14 laps out, the poor buggers. But he must absolutely be tanking them. So an interesting way. Flo normally pops in for a chat, so I'll be fascinated to hear exactly why he's gone for that kind of thing. Also fascinating to see, if we don't look at Adonis's, Philipp Puschke is sniffing around Jordan Weeks for 11th, and that will be key.
Definitely, yeah. That's going to be key for his championship recovery. So, he's still lose points, but especially if Fighter doesn't end up winning, which is looking like it could well happen, although, as I've been noticing, I think Fighter's done mostly primes, so presumably he's planning on the option, I would assume, for the last stint. So he may be quick in that last stint, whereas everyone else is on a prime. So that's one thing to keep an eye out with Fighter, but if he doesn't end up winning it, maybe it's a second or a third, that's going to help Puschke not lose too much. But, again, still, even if he does manage to recover to, up to even where the Adonis are possibly, I think maybe 8th isn't necessarily out of the question for Puschke, depending on how good his pace is, as Melon pits from 10th. But yeah, maybe 8th, but even then he still loses a good chunk of points, and that should mean they'll basically be line astern into the last round. What's happened?
Puschke takes Jordan down into, he's a bit tardy on the exit. Jordan may have a little go at him, but I think Jordan Weeks would just dearly love some well-deserved points if he can just keep it all together for Torrent. And Torrent have had a terrible? It could be terrible, but it's a terrible time for Torrent. Oh my God, say that after Jaeger bombs. And I think for someone who gets so much banter and bad luck, Jordan deserves some goodness in this world. So let's hope he can keep that together as he slides out of the exit of that turn. And I was thinking, oh, don't curse it now.
No.
But yeah, so I think that's another key one for Puschke. And I think what will happen is that unless Puschke doesn't score anything at all and Fidek wins, he still goes into that final race with a points advantage, and so the pressure, it's still his championship to lose, whereas Fidek is still the just give it my best kind of thing. And I suppose this race and this, obviously the final race of the year, it's going to be such a weird mental challenge for the pair, and it's going to be interesting to see how they approach that.
Yeah, indeed, that's very true. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the mentality, as you said, Puschke again, sort of his lose mentality, whereas as you said, Fighter could be just in the I've got to give everything I've got to win sort of mentality. So it'll be two very different ways of thinking going to that last round. It's going to be really interesting to see how that all plays out as they go along in that final round of the championship. Cooper's still leading, 3.4 seconds to Yunt now, so it's still pretty line astern. It hasn't really changed much in the last few laps. Fidek's still holding off the back of Yunt. He's actually closed in, so slight net. It's about 7 tenths now back to the Hawkeye driver, and it's a bit of a gap back to Parker, 10 seconds down there in the second CSG, and then Sven de Vries having a good race there. It's been pretty quiet all the race, just doing his own thing at the back end of the top 5. But very good stuff for him for Woods. Hope they can hold on to that. That'd be much needed points for the Woods outfits. And yeah, kind of 6th there because he had to pit recently, so he's a bit out of sync there, and whether he's doing a 4-stop or what he's doing there, the strategy we'll have to find out. So we'll have to keep an eye on him. And then he's in, yes, right, there you go, and he's just exiting, and he should come out right behind Sven, behind Sven, actually, in a nice little gap, actually, will he beat Guy out? So, yeah, it's nice, he's in a nice little gap there, got about, I'd say about 5-6 seconds to Sven, so, it's nice from Cooper again, he's picking his stops well, isn't he, because he keeps coming out in nice clean air, which is why he seems to be gaining so much in the pit stop phases.
But he's also come out on the primes, which makes me think if he thinks he can try and get 19 laps out of them, he's going to the end. And what that also means is that he's 17 seconds ahead of Yunt, and he is 11 seconds behind Parker. So at the moment, Parker will have to pit because he's gone option. So it means that he can't get away with the extra stop, I don't think. And he will have to pit and fold behind his teammate. So the Parker does one less may not actually happen because he's gone got prime all the way through. He changed to option 1 early, I think. So he could have gone prime, and then option maybe, or prime option, I don't know. But yeah, he's not made that one work, unfortunately. Not if that was what he was trying to do, as I just saw an awful lot of smoke from someone. But no one's off the track. So they've clearly survived, and it was Lopez, to be fair. So all is good. Jump needs 1.6 seconds.
Indeed, yeah, it's also settled down a bit now. Everyone's going along in their phases. The closest to us still the two Adonis's that are still going along. Musket, Silverline, Strana there. Strana holding on at the moment. So there's still line astern at the moment, probably just trying to make sure they don't take each other out like they almost did before. So yeah, that's pretty much you guys' sort of battle at the moment, really. Everyone else is quite spread out now, so they're all just trying to go along and trying to just set themselves up, I guess, for that last 10 laps or so is what the plan is now. They're all just trying to sort their tyres and trying to figure out, what strategy they're going to do as they towards the latter stages of the race. 38 laps gone, 56, 18 to go. Well, they're about 68% complete. Yes, Young still leads. He's 1.6 seconds clear of David Vod. And then Parker is about 7 seconds off the lead, so it's dropping back ever so slightly from Young, which is interesting to see. Young's actually managing to outpace Parker on the same tyre, which I find quite interesting. So there you go. And yeah, as we said, Cooper, as I think pitted, should come out in the effective lead, theoretically, assuming everyone else has to stop again, which they surely will have to. Yeah, it's interesting to see how many more stops people do. So we said Parker will probably do another stop. I'm going to guess he'll go with prime or maybe the option. Maybe he's going to try and extend these options enough so he can do other options to perhaps might be plan. So he might come back. We'll see. It's all going to play out in that last 10 laps. So I think the sort of face of the race is that kind of holding pattern everyone's in. They're all just sort of trying to sort each other out and what strategies they're doing. So I believe Jordan Weeks just pitting pop back out 14 from. Okay, for now.
So Wopke just popping in the chat room saying 18 laps and primes will happen. So that is key. I think the key moment for me is that David Young continues round on options. He's got 17.2 seconds ahead of CSG's Alex Cooper, who's on the, in theory, slower prime tyre, and he's already lost a tenth in that sector. As soon as that gets to 19 seconds, Young is coming out alongside Cooper, so he's only got to find 1.7 seconds for the potential lead on a faster tyre, admittedly worn. And the other factor in this is that Florian Gaia is taking out almost half a second a sector on Cooper on option tyres, because Gaia is putting on all the tyres in the pit lane to make sure that he can get home. And so the minute that those two go into battle, Cooper can potentially lose time hand over fist battling position that ultimately he's not really defending for. And that could push that 1.7 second deficit way over. And suddenly we've got David Young and David Fidek battling for the lead. Fidek now is closing down 10th on 10th on Judd in the last two sectors. So suddenly what was 2 seconds is now 1.3.
Indeed. Yep, yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, you're very, very right there. And that could be something tactics saying, maybe, although that Cooper just took 3/10 out of Young there on that sector alone. So it looks like Cooper is definitely matching Young the pace. Possibly Young, his tyres might be just starting to come off the peak performance, maybe. It looks like Fidek really is starting to really in now. I reckon it'll be about a second. Yeah, 1.1 seconds. So Fidek really in. So I reckon, maybe those tyres might just be starting to go on him, which could be key if he wants to really challenge for the lead. But as you say, if Fidek can catch up to Cooper, really battling and just really be a pain to him at this point. I reckon he's definitely closing still as it is now, about the second, so he's closing. So yeah, and that could be a team for if I can just hold up Cooper, really test him and all, as it's happened.
Ben DeVries shoots his pit lane in the woods, racing over his pit box, had to reverse back again. That's the second time I've seen that this evening. It's not going to affect too much because he's all on his own in sixth, but what that will do is completely hand fifth now to Florian Gaia.
Yeah, indeed, no, that's very true, yeah, but, just sort of saying, if he can catch up to Cooper and be a bit of a punch, and that could be a team play there, and that could really help out Young potentially, although, as well as you're saying.
14-15, Tapper and Horrell side by side, Vodball versus Green Stripes. Tapper goes through and says thank you very much, and that works beautifully for him. Ben Horrell there knowing exactly where to choose his battles. He's having a little look-see just to say, I don't think so, but that is done deal there, I think, for Dowie now. And right in front of him is 14th place Kenny Liberia in the Nijo. And of course, this Nijo Green Stripe battle, there's only 3 points between them. Kenny's got ahead of Ben somewhere around there. I don't know if that's pit stop affected. I'll have to take a peek. But as Tapper goes out and hits the anti-cut, which is never a good plan, Kenny there
that's okay.
helping things out for Nijo, which is much needed for them.
Yeah, indeed, no, very true there for that battle with Green Stripes. Ben is right behind Tapper here. He's going to possibly have a look. Yep, has a little bit of a sniff down the inside. Oh, and Tapper goes wide to turn one, just hands Ben a look down the inside. But he's going to get the exit, and yeah, there you go. Ben not really fighting too hard, but fair enough. He probably doesn't want to, after all the sort of incidents that have been going on, he probably doesn't want to cause another one. So, have another one happen. But he's still fighting this. He's still trying. Oh, good. He's really having a go on that Green
But
Stripes.
look what's
Credit to Ben.
behind. It's
Oh.
Junt and Fidek.
Oh, yeah. There you go, and look at how close they are. It's 3-10, so we've got the leaders coming up from these two. They're fighting like it's... Yeah, well, it is a fight to death. Very experienced tribes need any points they get. This is for 15th and 14th with Nijo, who they are fighting. So this is really interesting. Here they are with this leaders are right there. And they've got these three all right in a line sperm battle. Look, this though, Tapper is absolutely flying up the back of Kenny here. Look at the speed difference of the Vodball. There's so much pace that Vodball has.
Fidek's going for the outside as well of Junt. And he pushes him out wide. All 4 wheels off of the track there for Fidek, who couldn't have made that move for the lead. Same as Tapper was unable to get past Kenny at the same time. So all three together, Horrell's been right in front of them for almost an entire sector. I think this might start to annoy David, and I've heard him in TeamSpeak get quite agitated before, so I'd imagine anyone in that channel will probably grab some earplugs around now, as Tapper has another go. Oh, and they're all in!
They're both fit. Yeah, that's not that out. I guess that was well timed because, yeah, I mean, there you go, no real frustration in, although Kenny has pitted too, so I wonder where he's going to pop out. If he pops out ahead of him, could be interesting, but yeah, there you go, that kind of sorts that out quite nicely, so well done there. So, as Tapper actually gets past, I think Ben's going wide into turn one there, so that gives Tapper the position, but yeah, almost very interesting as who's that? Oh, that's Puschke getting past Fran Lopez for 8th spot. That was down into the right-hander after the main straight. And just gets that move done. That is the position, I'm fairly sure. So there you go. So Fran drops down on the spot. And Puschke up another one. So this recovery is looking better and better as he goes along. And I'll tell you what, Muscat isn't that far up the road. I wouldn't put him out of contention to maybe get him too.
The interesting thing on the tyres as Kenny Liebeer gets out the way for Junt and Guy. Cooper is ahead. Parker is ahead and is 15 seconds up the road, which is not quite the pit stop that he needed. So Tom Parker leads, but he will not be there once he makes his final stop. So Alex Cooper is now the effective leader. Brian Guy sits third, but he needs to pit again for prime tyres. Junt is then effectively second place. Fidek is third. Parker will then rejoin in fourth with Guy at fifth, or De Vries sixth, depending on how Guy does this last stint or so. It will be fascinating to see now because Junt and Fidek are both on prime tyres. So now they've never been on the same tyre at the same time. Now they are, so it's pure pace.
Indeed, so there you go, Parker in now. So they'll be into presumably the prime tyres. Because I can't see him getting options that long. So 13 lap stint, it's possible, but although, let's have a look. Okay, yeah, it looks like he's on the option, so he's going to try a 13 lap stint on his option tyres. It is possible, but I do think he'll be fitting well at the end of the race, but we'll see how he goes. He should pop out in 4th spot, right behind David Young, or sorry, no, 5th, sorry. Pop out 5th, but will be effective 4th, because of course Guy's hit the stop. So yep, there you go, so he drops out 5th there in front of Sven de Vries, who's still kind of just going along in his own little world there. Yeah, very interesting indeed. It's interesting seeing Kyra's still there. He's only 8/10 behind Cooper. He's been holding off the back of him this whole stint. So yeah, he's still, if he can still get close to him, that could really help out Yunt. So team tactics could potentially come into play. We'll see how that develops.
So on lap 44 of 56, 12 to go, the racing order so far, as Jens has asked for it. There is live timing over at Live Racers if you would like it. You've popped it in the chat. Alex Cooper leads the way then from Florian Geyer in second, who is still yet to make his final stop. David Junt is in third, ahead of David Fidek 4. So it's a CSG, Nord Zone, Hawkeye. CSG in fifth with Tom Parker. Then Sven de Vries in sixth for Woods. Seventh is Jason Muscat. 8, Fran Lopez. 9, Eric Strana, just ahead of Philipp Puschke in 10th place. Then Pedro Mellem 11, Jordan Weeks is in 12th for Torrent. 13th is Bart DeVos Kerno. 14 Dowie Tapper for Vodball. 15 now Ben Horrell for Green Stripes because Kenny Lybeard has pitted. So that sorted that out. Aaron Newman is into 17th for Nijo. Second Kerno of Mark Wicks is in 18. 2 laps down is Kieran Ryan, and 3 laps down is Mikko Yakinin, although still running, which has been a rare thing for him this year. So at least both Felixes are coming home, will be in the last positions. Just 20 remain. We've not had any return since that 23, so the second half of the race has been much cleaner. Puschke on Strana, though, for 9th and 10th positions. This will be another one picked off for Philip, who pushes past, literally, into 9th position. Lopez next up the road, or well, will be Muscat when he pits, actually, won't it? And Muscat's in this lap, so that sorts that out.
He's gone off. He's gone off into the wall, Muscat. Oh, it's a shame for him. He just went too deep into the pit lane and went straight into the wall. So a real shame for Muscat there. Just a bit of a lapse of concentration, perhaps. That's going to hand Puschke the position. So Puschke now in the effective 8th spot. Potentially 7th, depending on what happens with Fran Lopez, because he's sure... he may have to pit again, depending on how long he's been on those primes. So Muscat is going to drop him down... I think, man, look, where is he? He should drop him down a ways because he's now going to have to repair damage. Should be 10th. Actually, make it behind Mellum. I think Mellum's there, you can get him in 10th. So, yep, there goes Mellum now. Still yet to stop. And there goes Weeks as well. So he's got past him as well. And he's probably going to come out just ahead of Bart DeVos. So he drops all the way down to 12th. Real shame for Muscat after having a pretty solid race, has to be said, in that car. But he is still on the points, which is the main thing. But I will say, good stuff from Strana, I think, there on Puschke. He knew that Puschke was a lot faster than him, so he didn't really fight.
But yeah.
He went, yep.
He's overheated his engine now. I was going to say, as he come out of the pits there, Jason Muscat had an awful lot of smoke going out the back, and I thought, that's a weird place to be braking your tyres. It's starting to clear away now, but clearly he overrevved that engine trying to turn it back out of the barrier in the pit lane. Part of what's all over the back of him, so clearly there's an issue there for Muscat whilst he gets his car up and going again. Hopefully the temperatures will drop down. There's no longer smoke out the back, but it's looking a bit awkward as Bart DeVos nearly cranes into the back of Muscat whilst he gets his tyres up to temperature, so all a bit airy, scary there, and Fidek is ahead of Junt.
Indeed, there you go, yeah, Fidek's managed to get Junt somewhere around the track. I'm not sure where that was, but that would have probably been a pass position, no doubt. So that moves him into 3rd. Just keeping an eye on this Bart DeVos Muscat battle. It's still going at it. DeVos appears to have it though. So go to the double right-handed. But I wouldn't be surprised if Muscat comes back at him once he gets the engine issue and the tyres sorted. Because as we know, he was having pace up with Strana's quite a way up the road. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets back at Bart when he gets sort of all his shizness sorted, so to speak. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, interesting times. Puschke 8 now, keeping an eye on the Puschke charge. As I said, Fran Lopez next on the list, but I'm not sure if Fran will pit again. I'm not quite sure how long he's been on those prime tyres, to be honest, but he may pit again, he may not. We'll keep an eye on that for you in the near future. But yes, Cooper still leads 1.2 seconds ahead of Gaia, so he's slightly gapped him, but again, Gaia has to stop again. I would assume he's going to have to get the prime, that's right, because none of the primes didn't yet. Yep, here he comes now. Yeah, there you go. He comes, that will release 5-second jump.
Yeah, it will. So, Florian Guy, that was the longest stint he's done so far. 13 laps on a pair of tyres. Onto the primes he goes. So Alex Cooper then leads the way. Now we've pretty much got all the pit stops out of the way. David Fidek into 2nd, 5.9 seconds down, and closing Cooper very slowly, but closing. 3rd is David Junt. Then, that's interesting.
Yeah, go around. And there was a Nijo trying to get out of the way too, so finally Sven's got some company. It's the first time all race since probably the first 10 laps, and he's going for it down the inside there. Gee, Sven really quite to get involved in this. To be fair, I wouldn't blame him. I'd be getting pretty bored at this point as well as I'm going for pretty much the entire race. So he's finally got some company there in 5th spot. He is on older tyres, but he's on the same compound as Gaia. So it'll be interesting to see who wins that battle. Yeah, I mean, Sven will definitely challenge, but Gaia does have less warm tyres, so I would expect to pull away. As his tyres come up temperature, but we'll keep an eye on that as they come on to the back straight now. And Sven's got to get the guy straight away with that guy, straight to the inside, and then messing around. He's like, alright, I'm going to defend this as soon as I can. But Sven, look at that, he's coming up on him quite fast. That Woods has got pretty decent straight line speed to be fair. And he's going to go around the outside. He could probably have a dunk before the turn, nearly, but Guy's going to be inside the line. Sven tries to hold it, but nope, Guy just goes, no thank you. closes the door, and yep, he holds it for the moment. So double battle here for 5th for that last spot on the top 5.
That completely illustrates the difference in setup between Gaia, who's running lower wings but is able to brake more efficiently, compared to Sven de Vries, who set his car up for overtaking and less around corner management. However, what that does show is just how hard Florian is using his tyres, because that should be the easier option to get around on your tyres. The fact that he's had to force stop the Nord zone really shows how aggressive he's having to drive that car to get the result out of it. But he's pulled away immediately there from Sven, and so long as he could probably get around 0.8 of a second away, he should be safe next lap round. Potentially. The other interesting one, Vajek ahead of Jump, not pulling away, and Tom Parker is having the pair of them because he's on the option tyres and is reeling the pair in very quickly. And suddenly, Tom Parker is sitting there thinking, I could have second, because he's got plenty of pace in those option tyres, and we'll see if he can make them last, as David Junt actually closing right back on Vajek. That was a 1.5 second gap, no longer.
No, indeed, yeah, definitely. It is line of stern now. They're both right next to each other now. And yeah, you're looking quite dangerous here for Vajek. Vajek maybe struggling on the prime tyre. Or maybe he's better on the option tyre than prime, who knows. But yeah, seeming to struggle right now, Vajek. He's just suddenly losing pace. He's losing quite a lot of time to Cooper too. It's 6.6 seconds now. I'm surprised if it's possibly 7 seconds, because he looked like he was struggling in that last sector. But yeah, look at that. So he's got Jump coming out of him now, and Parker. So it's going to be a three-way fight soon for the second spot. And yeah, I'd have to agree. I'm looking at picking Parker here. He's on the option tyre. He's being much faster than the guys ahead of him. So I'm backing Parker here for this one. He's got a lot of pace. So yeah, and he's still 8 on laps to go here. So plenty of time for him to make moves. So yeah, I'm backing Parker for the second spot. Because it'll be interesting to see though. If he'll take third, the answer to Vajek. I'll have to say.
Oh. If there was a pick and mix, I think I'd be picking Parker too. Although I'd imagine him to be one of those amazing, cute, cuddly toys that you'd get on one of those little toy cranes where you put in the pound coin and down comes the crane and it slowly slides out and his little face is going. You can just see Parker loving being one of those machines. Who wouldn't want to buy a Parker plushie? As Junt goes in very wide and Parker says, I'll have all of the curb, and that's actually hindered him because he's floored it on the exit. Clearly, he was sitting there thinking, I'd quite like to be a plushie at that apex. Yeah. I tell you what, in the chat room, if there's a driver you'd like to have as a plushie, please do pop it in the chat room. I'd love to know. Clearly, the most important thing on 8 laps to go at the Austin Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix here for GPVWC's Super League. If you want to get involved in the action, hang over to gpvwc.com. There's still one race left to get your duck wet, so to speak. There'll be some off-season action as well, don't you worry about that. But the action on track, with 8 laps to go, now coming down to 7, is that Alex Cooper leads by 6.5 seconds from David Vajek, and with David Junt now under pressure from a fantastic Tom Parker in fourth on the option tyres, he's stuck right up onto the back of David, down the inside. David later on the brakes. Parker's got less wing, I think, but he has more grip on those tyres while he's making hay while the sun shines, because that grip will go. He needs to be ahead of these two before that happens.
Yeah, indeed, Junt. Yeah, he has, yeah, and Junt was quite submissive there, I've got to be honest. Didn't really fight that too hard, and I guess he probably knows that obviously the Park was on the option tyre and the prime, so maybe he just thought, not really my fight to fight here. He's going to obviously pass me anyway, so I may as well just sort of make it easy, not make a bit of a fuss out of it and just do my own race. It's probably not thinking Junt's done it. He's gone wide over the hairpin, so lost a bit of time there. But yeah, there you go, Parker through on to third, and I'll be surprised if he gets fired in the next few, or by probably the next lap, really. He's got so much more pace than him. I wouldn't be surprised if we can get it done very soon indeed. Kept 6.4, so Cooper's just eked out another couple of tenths there. I guess he's probably responded to Vajek's pace in that sector there. Probably saw the time come down and just responded there, so good stuff from him. The battle between Sven and Guy is still going on. There's about half a second, between those two, between Sven and Guy. So Sven's still holding on the back of him. And yeah, we'll see if he can maybe challenge that North Jones. That North Jones is very, very fast in a straight line. So it'll be pretty hard for the Woods to really challenge him, but we'll keep an eye on it for you. Lopez 7th, pretty quiet for him in this part of the last sort of half of the race. Just going to kind of be on his own there in 7th spot. Oh yeah, jumps around. There you go, in 4th place. Young goes round. That's the second to last corner. I'll have a look and see if you find that. On his own, yeah, he's too much curve, going the end cut. Pulls through your end, round he goes. So that's a bit of a shame.
And Parker
that puts him
through.
out of that battle. And yeah, there you go. Parker through at first corner.
Parker threw it up into second, down at turn 1. Nicely done from Tom himself, as CSG 1-2. We've not had that this year, I don't think. And Mr. Fiduk down to third, and I suppose when he's thinking, I'm winning in terms of points today, how hard are you going to stick your wheels in the way of someone that has nothing to lose and is desperately desperate to show that he has the pace to secure a permanent seat here at the front line at CSG for 2016, for which Parker has most definitely put one hand on the wheel, I'm sure. The other one will be, I'm sure, confirmed. It's a later point. It seems like a natural home for him. But you never know in the world of GPVWC, and that is part of the silly circus that we come to love, hate and enjoy in all equal measure, like a Neapolitan ice cream. Parker then is 6.9 behind Cooper and still on the faster tyre. Does he... Well, I think it's an extremely tall order, but he might as well have a go. And I know exactly what Parker's like. He will have a go and just see what he can do, maybe to put Mr. Cooper under any kind of pressure that he can, whilst his team boss is probably going, don't you dare.
I was about to say, the team boss will probably going, please don't, Parker, we can't want Cooper to get points here. But yeah, fair enough, he might as well crack. He just bought 10 cent Cooper's lead in that sector alone, so he's still really taking a good chunk out of it. I believe it's holding out of the way with stuff from Ben there, getting well out of the way of the Lucas. Yes, Parker looking like he may well. I think third's probably the best he can get. I think Parker's tyre has been good. He's been good on tyres this race, so I really don't think the options are going to fall away too hard. Even if they do, I think he's got enough pace to stay ahead, so he should be safe there in that second. But still, if I can get that third spot for him, and I don't think Puschke can get past Lopez. I think 5 seconds there in the last sort of 4 or 5 laps is too much, although he just take a lot out of that Lopez has. So maybe, but even so, third, 7th, it's still going to bring that gap in the championship down quite a ways, which definitely keeps fighting in it, which is what he'd want. Looking back at any more battles, Weeks and Mellon are relatively since the battle of 10th spot, both on the time tire. As they go over the line now, Mellon in 10th, been a bit quiet in the last 20 laps or so after the action he was involved with earlier in the race, just having all the action, a bit quiet now. And then who else? Bart Voss 12th, Muscat 13th, after his drawing pit lanes on the points, good stuff for him. Tapper 14th in the second bubble from his recovery drive after the contact with during the race, and Hall in 15th, which is a point for Green Stripes, just as we said, and that battle with Nico, every point counts.
That it does, and I think it's a shout out actually for Bart Voss in the Kerno unlapped, and Kernos don't often stay on the lead lap, so that's good for that team who have slowly chipped away, especially when they come back from adversity at the end of 2014, where they weren't even competing in races because they'd run out of Dodge. And we're having a bit of a crisis within the team. The fact that they are back in and running is good to see. 13th overall in the championship. They're too far behind Green Stripes and Niger to get anywhere, but that's another point or two potentially. Clear are Phoenix, who are on 11, haven't scored since Italy, and having a wee bit of a... At least they're getting cars across the line, but unfortunately it's the wrong side, 15th place. But Phoenix, I think, just delighted to get some cars home these days as they get towards the championship end. Of course, this is the penultimate round of the year. And, I thought I was about to have a little bit of a freak out there because I thought Guy had lagged out. He's not, and it's just me having a bit of a freak out session. I think what we'll be doing for the finale season, we may be trying to join you a wee bit earlier on the broadcast potentially, or do like a little mini season review afterwards. Myself and Mr. Hinns will go through and give us some thoughts on the action, the extended broadcast edition. Hinns didn't sign up to that until just now, sorry.
Oh. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's all good. I'll be happy with the season review. Everyone's up for a fact about things, so that'd be good. Really good. Yeah, may as well make a nice little way to send off this season, which could be potentially the last one off Act 1. So yeah, good way to send it off.
Definitely. And drivers are most welcome to come and join afterwards. Have a good giggle, and I'm sure we can raise a toast or two, and I'm not talking of the bread variety, to a fascinating season as Jason Muscat has blown his engine. In 14th place, there is a lot of black smoke, and that went in sector 1, and he hit a curb and went for it, but I think the damage was done in that crash and the pit stop that ensued where he'd over-revved that car. So what that does do is push Tapper was in 13th, then Horrell moves up to 14th and gets 2 points for green stripes, and Nisha go, because Kenny Labeer yoinks 15th and says, I'll raise your 2 for my 1. So they don't really get too much of an advantage in that. But since there's only 2 points between them, 3 points between them, sorry. It's a bit like the Caterham and Marussia battles that used to go on with HRT sticking their nose in the battle for constructors. As Fran Lopez, I'm a bit worried actually that he's about to blow a brake. There's so much black smoke coming out of each of that. I noticed that earlier on, getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And Puschke, you said it earlier on, I think 5 seconds may be too much of a gap. Look, he's pulling over. Oh no, he's coming to get out of the slipstream. I thought he was pulling over. Breathe, Simon, breathe.
I noticed that the last lap he's really been closing in massively. Perez on the option tyre and Lopez on the primes. I was not too surprising, but Lopez's pace was all right earlier on, but I guess we already know he's really hard on his tyres, so I think it's probably a combination of tyres and maybe the brakes going as well. So a bit of a not fun time right now for Lopez. And look at that, Puschke's right behind him. But we know Lopez, and we know that he's always up for a fight, no matter what the situation. So, knowing Fran, he's going to fight to the death here, even if he is sort of walking wounded at the moment. But Puschke's right behind now. I really can't see how he wouldn't get him in the next few corners. Look at that, right behind him in the last, just closes right up behind that Red Archer. And we know how quick the Vod ball is pretty much everywhere. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has a little bit of a go down to turn 1. He's closing up. Fran defends the inside. As I said, he's going to defend till the end. It is last 2 laps to go, so he may as well defend it while he can. Also for the time being, but Puschke looks so dangerously close to him right now that I just can't see how he wouldn't get that move done in the next few corners.
Fran Lopez does look a wee bit vulnerable on the brakes as well. They're coming around to that Mark Wicks in the Kerno. Just outside of the points is Mark Wicks, and that's Lopez going very deep in that corner. It's one of those turns that just invites you in. Second, third gear, people take different ones into it depending on how you want to line yourself up for that chicane afterwards. Everyone's got a different line. Wicks will get well out of the way. He is so used to that. Oh! Here goes Puschke in that. Lopez says, I'll have some straight line speed. And did I see a car parked in the middle of the straight? No, it wasn't. It was a bit of lag on the green stripe ahead. But Lopez there, that is key for him because we're on the last lap now for Alex Cooper. And that may well have just saved Lopez for one last gasp effort, potentially. But Puschke would dearly love those extra points. And I think between himself and David Fidek, Puschke would be the one to stick it up the inside for it, as opposed to David Fidek doing so. But the leading lot are on the last lap. Let's see what Puschke can do into the final corner in turn 1, which is where I think the deed will be done.
Yeah, indeed, I think he'll look for it at turn 1. As here we go, although that gets a bit squirmy on there because it's cost him some extra time there. I don't know if he'll have a look. He's a bit too far back, but again, that bobble is very fast. Fran will defend. Yep, there he goes to the inside. Saw it coming. He's going to defend, but Puschke will get the better exit there in that bobble car. Very nice exit indeed. He might get it done here. They're going to be side by side as we go through, sweeping right-handed towards the rhythm section. It's really dangerous to go side by side. They're going to try anyway. Look at this, Puschke around the outside. Glorious move, but Lopez straight back at him. Round the outside. This is amazing racing from these two. Lopez gets it back. Wow, that was very impressive. Fantastic stuff from those two. And moved the century, but yes, Cooper just about to come across the line. He's entering the second last corner now.
He is indeed. We'll foot back to that battle at the moment, but Alex Cooper has played his cards right on the strategy front and sneakily got himself up, but not without some ballsy moves. Alex Cooper wins the American Grand Prix of GPVWC Superleague 2015 for CSG. Tom Parker comes across the line 2.5 seconds behind in second. David Fidek rounds out the podium in third place. David Junt will come home fourth, just ahead of teammate Florian Geyer in fifth. Only a second between those. De Vries will be sixth, and Puschke is past Lopez down at the end of the back straight for seventh. That will do him very nicely indeed. It's waiting. De Vries has indeed passed for Woods. That is really saving the Woods racing team, to be fair. So good for him. And Puschke well clear of Lopez. I think Lopez has just run out of tyres and brakes and he was on the slower tyre too. So Philip, good recovery from what was an awful lap 1. And Lopez into the pits. I don't know quite what happened there. He's going to cross the line in 8th anyway. I wonder if he thought, I'll get a shorter run in that way, do a Michael Schumacher. Eric Strane will be 9th for Adonis. A great run by him, the ITC and champion. And I think he's Formula Challenge champion as well.
I believe so, yeah.
He is indeed, racking up all of the crowns, but not this one. Mellem and Weeks, it's the last corner. Weeks was going to have a go because Mellem had a terrible exit. Oh, Jordan, don't bin it there. There we go. So, Mellem gets 10. Jordan Weeks points at last in 11th for Torrent. Tapper was 1 lap down in 12th after being tapped off by Mellem. 13th was Bart de Vos for Kerno, valuable points for them. Green Stripes, Ben Horrell, 14th. Nijo's Kenny Lybeer gets 15th and the final point. Teammate Ari Neiman was 16. 2 laps down, Kerno's Mark Wick 17. Kieran Ryan 18th, who actually was just a second behind. We missed that battle, but clearly that was getting tasty chops. Then 19th, 3 laps down, Mikko Yakinin. Your retirements from that race. Jason Muscat, engine failure right at the end. He will get classified, though, for the amount of race laps that he completed. Wopke Hoekstra disconnected with internet problems. Tom Vandervoort crashed out on lap 12. Roy Schroten gave up on lap 3. And DeWalt Nell was the sole victim of retirement standard in the green stripes on the opening lap in what was all of the crash going on across all of the track.
No, it was a very interesting race, very good. I thought it was very much the sort of exciting race I was hoping for. We had the absolute pandemonium that was the first lap, the carnage into turn 1, which has made things a bit interesting before we even got going, really, into the proper race itself. So, interesting stuff on the first lap, which made things interesting, and yeah, just some really nice battles throughout, and the strategy was really key. I mean, I think the main message there was the strategy. I mean, we knew strategy was going to be important, and really showed there. It was all down to strategy, really. As we saw Parker, by the way, was only 2.4 seconds back from Cooper there at the end, so he very nearly caught him back. I think another few laps, and he may well have been all over the back of his teammates. So there you go. But good stuff for CSG, 1-2. It's the first time in a while we've seen that, but good stuff for them. And yeah, some good results. Vitek as well, get some good points on Puschke, so good stuff there. But yeah, very good race all round, I thought. So
yes, my man Tash is twitching, and that's not just because we've got some drivers in the chat room, but let's dive into the drivers themselves and kick off with our winner, Alex Cooper. And for what we've decided to kind of nickname you the secret squirrel, or the sneaky squirrel, because you're there and thereabouts and then whip out a result out of nowhere. You got out your testicles quite a few times in that one and pulled off some ballsy moves. So it was hats off to you for that one. Talk us through that race.
I don't even know what happened, to be fair. I don't know. I had a half, I was going to have a half spin at turn 1 and got tapped around, but it was mostly my fault. And then avoided all the carnage, made my way through, and somehow ended up in the lead and won. Don't have a clue.
I guess, yeah, just one of those races just comes out of nowhere. But I mean, take a win, I'd say. But obviously going to the last round is next at Brazil. I know it's a track that a lot of people like. It's one I like, for sure. Driver favourite. You looking forward to that one? It's a track you usually do well at, or you're expecting to really be fighting at the front in that one?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Oh, sorry. Just saying, with the last round coming up, driver favourite really, that track. Are you looking to be fighting at the front once again, looking for another win to finish off the season?
Well, it'd be nice, obviously, but it's always really close at Brazil, so I don't know. It could be anywhere. It's going to be a good race, so.
Yes, agreed. Hopefully, good to finish on a good note.
Bonus question. You've now moved into third in the Drivers' Championship, Alex. Obviously, these were key points for CSG in the Constructors' Battle, which I'm sure is what you guys are now focusing on in general. Oh, hello. Answer that phone. And that is also your third win in 4 races. Do you have anything particular that you attribute to this kind of upturn in form? And
it's this car. This car's an absolute beast.
And it's
There's no other way to put it.
What's made it the beast, though?
Well, we had a big upgrade for Spa, and we couldn't really show it at Spa and Monza, but since Singapore, was it? We've just been flying. Japan was a bit unlucky with strategy, but it's just been so quick.
Cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. No, enjoy the champers, and we'll see you down under in Brazil. Let's move on to Mr. Second Place himself, and it's Mr. Parker, the plushy Parker, as we've come to now call you on air, because we all agreed that actually we'd quite like a plushy version of you.
Definitely.
Talk us through that one, because that was a podium. It has been your best result of the season so far, because you only had one beforehand. And for what looked like an alternative strategy, you looked like you was about to pull out a really sneaky surprise and trump them all. Talk us through it, because you're not well.
Yeah, it's nice to actually get a podium on merit for once. I mean, Silverstone was a bit carnage, but it's nice to get second. I always knew I was never quick enough on the options, never quick enough, and Alex was destroying me, and I thought only chance was to go on the primes, got the primes to work, and started qualifying for 7th, which is pretty good. And then first stint, I was really surprised. I was keeping up with everybody. At some points, I think only Fiduk on the options was faster than me, which was really good for my boost. Obviously, Alex was a bit further down the find his way through, which was good for us. And then bolted on new primes again, because I knew that my tyre wear was pretty high, so I thought I'd better put them on again. And then I must admit, my third stint, I thought I'm going to go in, and I thought, actually, now I'll stay out for one more lap. It's a good thing I did, because otherwise I'd have crashed at the last lap. So it was nice. I knew that towards the end I'd be quick. If I hadn't been spun, stuck behind Sven, but very good defending Sven. I don't know how the hell you made that wood so wide. Maybe it was, I don't know, maybe a win-loss, like Alex said, he got spun and then all went wrong. So I think we deserved the 1-2. I think we've put a lot of effort into it. So it's nice to actually be rewarded.
Yeah, indeed, no, very true, very true. So it's been a good set, obviously a very interesting season so far, with a lot of up and downs from pretty much everyone really. I can't think of any team that hasn't had a bit of the good and a bit of the bad, bit of the touches of both extremes. But how's the season been for you now that we're sort of getting near the end, last race to come? As a sort of review, and we'll obviously do a full review the next round, but just quickly, what sort of memories have you got so far from this season, from the rounds that have been done so far?
Some of them, I think my word, missed opportunities. I think Austria, I was one of the fastest people on there. I think even me and Lewis were very closely matched there. If it wasn't for a jump start, I could have had that one. A couple of races, Portimao, another one. If I hadn't spun with Downgus, Columbus, I would have been a lot higher up. But it's nice. I mean, I've broken my podium duck, and I've done it again. And I got fastest lap. Hooray! I just needed a pole, and it'd have been all of the hat trick. But I'll let Alex have this one. He did a bloody good job today.
Oh, I can feel the post race banters going on. It's all about the banter, to be fair. So well done, Parker. Well deserved. Well deserved. Let's move on to Monsieur Fidok and his very, very, very desperately needed podium to keep him in the championship hunt. I think the question on everyone's lips, because we have been asking, how sweaty are you tonight?
Not very, actually.
What?
No, it was one of them races where I knew I didn't have the pace, so I didn't push as much as I need to. After the start, when I saw Philipp in P18, I think, I just made sure I brought it home and didn't attack as much as I should. So, yeah, not that sweaty today. Sorry.
There you go. There you go.
Eyes disappoint. That is all I'm saying.
They're expecting to be just a load of sweat there. But anyway, yes, no, that it was a very good race in the end. I thought, yeah, good to get that third spot again. That Mr. Consistency coming through. But I guess what did you see that first corner shenanigan really? Because we were going along, and then it was just we were going along fine, and the next minute there was people off everywhere. It was a bit of chaos. So, what was your view of that first corner debacle?
Not much, to be honest. My start was pretty good, so I was alongside Alex into turn 1. And then he was beside me going around the outside of turn 1, and then the next thing I saw, he was spinning in my mirror and taking a few people with him, or somebody connected at the back, and I don't know, I didn't really see much, but luckily I got a good start and managed to keep out of all the trouble. But yeah, Alex did a stunning recovery drive and deserved the win after all that. So
bonus question, because you are defending champ, I feel like you need to have like a little belt and a little theme tune that we can sing out as we go around. Obviously, you came into this very much on the back foot and almost with a it doesn't matter how I drive, it's nearly out of your hands. And through fate, Puschke was pushed off. Lols. So how do you now go into Brazil knowing that that gap is still very much that you're coming from behind, so to speak, pardon the pun. But how do you then approach Brazil? Is it still it's out of my hands, I'll drive my own race and see how I go? Or are you going in all guns blazing to win? Talk us through it.
That's basically all you can do in it, is just do your own race. My teammate DNF today, unfortunately, which made Philip go up one more place, so could have been a bit better. I'm not sure what it is now. Is it 10, 12 points, something like that?
We think it's 14 points.
14. Cheers, Tom. So yeah, I basically need another race like today. So yeah, it's going to be difficult. I do my own race as usual, attack as normal, but I didn't expect Philip to do that recovery drive, to be honest. When he was, at the back and first lap, and I started thinking about my own race and bringing it home for the points, then all of a sudden last stint he was in the top 10. So maybe I should have pushed a bit more, but the CSGs were too quick anyway. So P3 would have been it, but no matter what happens in Brazil, I'm kind of proud of what I've done this year. With the budget we've had, with the DQ of Harley last year, it kind of kicked Hawkeye down a bit. So I wanted to come in to help lift them back up. We've had a good car most of the season, not the best. So to do what I've done is pretty good. I feel like I've improved myself as a driver. Yeah, whatever happens. I'm happy with the way the season's gone on. For 2 seasons in a row, it's gone down to the wire. So, yeah.
Great stuff. No, we'll certainly be celebrating with a drunken shenanigan, regardless of what happens. So, best of luck to both Mr. Fidek and Philipp Puschke. You've given us plenty of entertainment throughout the year, and it's a pleasure to have. Let's dive through to Mr. David Yunt, who is about, hopefully, if he is going to dive off of Muty Poos. Yes, he is.
There is.
It is the Swiss Knife Army in the Nor Zone, and for a 13th and a 6th in your 2 races that you've deputised in this year, you suddenly put all the cats among the pigeons and looked like you was on for a course or a podium for a lot of that race. So talk us through it, because we was probably just as surprised as maybe you were.
I'm quite majorly surprised, since by 8 o'clock my time I was sitting at a dinner table and I was getting ready to do the testing work. And when I came back to do the testing work, I had a message lying there on Facebook that told me Augustine won't be able to race, and I will step in, and I had like 3 laps done. So yeah, but setup was quite good. So it worked quite well for the track, and got into it because Austin, really nice track to drive. Some I saw it on Super Cup already. Some don't like it at all, but I think it's a quite nice track. And so yeah, testing, jumped in, qualifying like 2 laps, parked it on P7, I think, which was P4 on the grid through penalties. I was like really majorly surprised there. Got off to decent start. I hadn't really tested that, and then yeah, some things happened ahead, and I think probably lucky that I got damage on the rear wing, but it didn't fall off, and I could just go on. And from that point on, with the options, I could develop a really nice pace. So I even managed to then get close to front, and we went side by side into turn 1. But I went a long way, and then I just saw him sliding into me. We touched, and he spun, and nothing really that I could have done there. But well, it happened. But I'd say it's just a very unfortunate racing incident for Fran and me. After that, well, I was really surprised to even keep with David and battle him probably the whole race long. I mean, I wasn't gonna expect to be racing, and then I'm really even passing David for podium position and even leading the race. So that was really awesome. And in the end, when I knew that, I saw that Tom had put on a prime, so I knew that he was gonna get back at us at the end of the race, and so he did. And myself, I made a tiny mistake turning into early, spun, and from there on I just drove home and took the points. And P4, I didn't even think I would be racing, so I'm really glad to take these points for Norton.
Indeed, no, it was a very, very solid race indeed, I thought, considering things. So I guess for me, next race course is Brazil. Because you're a test driver, and as you said, Augustin usually is the one that is at the helm of that car. But what is your plans for that race? I mean, we know obviously Career Ladder, you've driven all over the place in Career Ladder this season. What are your plans for that? For where you're driving? Are you going Super Cup again, or maybe Super League again, depending on what happens there, or what's the plan there?
Yeah, for me it's Super Cup back again with Fox Racing. Well, it was a surprising, not a really unexpected thing to drive in Super League. So not that I want to, or that I hope that Augustin is not here, because I really hope he is, since the car is so good and he could do really well with it. But yeah, back to Super Cup. Hope for a good race there, and let's see what Norton does for the last race. Maybe challenge for the win again.
Wow. Thank you very much. And then last but not least, it is Mr. Florian Geyer, who has had yet another up and down race. You never have it easy, Flo. So talk us through it, because if he wasn't ruining all of the tyres and using all of the tyres, he was battling all of the cars. So I'd imagine you're a bit knackered by the end of that.
Hello. Yeah. It was pretty frustrating and I'm pretty pissed, to be honest. Yeah, where do I start? Qualifying was okay. I was a bit off my pace, but just slightly. Due to the grid penalty, I was P9, so right in the pack onto the first corner, and I got damage on the rear. Yeah, and this made my car point slightly to the left all the first stint. Lost about a second or so, or even a bit more per lap, so it's pretty frustrating. And also driving by Pedro was driving like a retard. Sorry for that, but it's just a fact. And he's sweeping all over the place, defending a bit too aggressive for my taste. Yeah, but that's there. Yeah. After that, I choose to force stop because I needed fresh air. Yeah, and that basically destroyed the race, because I could have easily done a free stop normally, and also with the pace I had, I could have easily won, with no disrespect to the CSG guys, but I think our car is better right now than for this race at least, and we could have easily won it, so it's pretty frustrating.
Yeah, indeed. No, it was a very tough race, as we said, a bit up and down all over the place, as we were seeing on the broadcast as we were going along. But obviously, last race coming up at Brazil, good old Interlagos. It's always a driver favourite. Obviously, as you said, the Nordrone been very strong for most of the season. Is looking very, very good here at the back end of the season. What are your expectations for that? Because as you said, could have challenged for the win today if you hadn't have had those dramas. Do you think a challenge for the win is on for the final round?
Yeah, I think so. We're gonna practice and try to find the best setup as usual, and then go for the win. I don't know, for us, or I don't know, but still, I think we're gonna go for a win again, and maybe enjoy the battle for the drivers' championship. So, yeah, drama I had, and lots of bad luck, and Augustin also DNF'd a few times. I think still in P3, so close to the other teams. I mean, they had the up and downs as well, but still, I think we did really well.
You have indeed. So no, thank you very much, Florian. As always, pleasure to have you with us. Last minute shout out for me, just as a random one. Jordan Weeks scored. That needs shots for weeks. Or a week's worth of shots. I think I'll go for that.
I prefer the second.
Yeah, I'll have shots for anything, you know me, drunkard. So we're back in 2 weeks' time for the Brazilian, the finale, the end of the 2015 season. It is going to be an absolute pleasure to have you all with us. Please do join us. It's going to be a giggle. We'll have some extra special bunting, and some parties. I'm going to bring in some alcohol. Will probably be descend into a trash fest, and the drivers that drive in the Super League are more than welcome to come and join us all afterwards for a good old giggle on air. And we'll probably all be banned, but never mind. We'll have Formula Challenge on Tuesday, along with Open Series, Super Cup on the Wednesday. Thursday, as ever, join Mr. Hinns and myself, and then either Quintin Plain or Joshua Anderson, depending on who it is. Don't forget, the final round of ITC is also next Monday as well, so you can join us for tin top action, and that never gets out of depravity, so you can know you can enjoy yourself for that as well. Any final words, Hinns, before we sign off?
Well, yeah, I just think next week should be good. I'll be in the focus again for YTF1. It's Portland, I believe. So it's always been a bit weird practicing for that one because we haven't actually raced around there. So I can't look back at results and go, okay, the time is that. I'm doing quick times. I'm just looking at it going, I think that's fast. I don't know. It seems fast. Who knows? But yeah, should be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to that. Had a lot of fun with ITC this year. But yes, no, last round, Super League should be really interesting to see. You know, what can happen there. Can Puschke just do his usual thing, be up there at the front and command the race, or will there be more drama? You never know. It is Brazil. Brazil always tends to bring something out of the bag as the races go on. But yeah, it should be really interesting to see, and I look forward to seeing what we can end the season on, because it has been an absolute cracker of a season this year. So hopefully we can end it on as good as a note as we've sort of started and had. So yeah, look forward to it.
Good stuff, and I am too. Thank you so much to Joshua Anderson for providing our camera pixelated filth here this evening and stepping in for Quintin Plain, who apparently his whole city is without internet. So let's hope that gets sorted soon. Thank you very soon. Take care. Bye for now.